804 The Culture here today again with another episode. We are of the culture for the culture, and today we are excited to have Tavares Floyd with us, a candidate running for the 6th District of Richmond City Council. And the brother said before we got to record, and he said, if you don't know, they will know. So for those who are listening and trying to get more informed on Tavares as a candidate, stay tuned and engage with this whole episode. Get in the comments. Go check out his social media so that you can learn more about this brother who is running for the 6th District City Council. It's a pleasure to meet you, brother. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Mal told me that he ran into you at Manchester Manifest.
Yeah.
And which Manchester is a part of the 6th District, Manchester/Blackwell. We'll get into a little bit of that as well. But it's an interesting district because it crosses the river.
I'll tell you, it's the coolest district in the city for a whole lot of different reasons, but it's also the most complex district in the city. It's the district that has the most challenges out of any district in the city. In fact, it covers Highland Park, Southern Barton Heights, Eastview, 3rd of Jackson Ward, downtown, part of the Arts District, the entire business district, all of Shockoe Slip, the only district, like you mentioned, that goes from one side of the river to the other to take all of Manchester, all of Belmead, and a third of Oak Grove. So it is massive.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I learned before the episode you've been in Richmond for the past 7-8 years now.
Yep.
And checking out your resume is quite impressive. You've done a lot to be a young man, and so congratulations on your success.
Oh, I appreciate you. I tell people all the time waits on no man, no woman, no person. So there's work to be done, and so when you're qualified to do it or when you're interested, and we just get in where we fit in. And so
for sure.
I've been moving at lightning speed. I say this every day, too. There's more work to be done, and there are people that are willing to do it or even qualified to do it. So
yeah,
we've got a lot of work in front of us.
So I'm going to try to ask the questions today of you that I would think that your constituents want to hear. I do a lot of work around the city and around the state. However, I don't live in the city, so I don't have a vote. However,
we got room for you.
Yeah, I know. The work I do though is of the city. I cover the whole state in the work that I do, and so I try to do my part in contributing and influencing in the ways I can. But I don't. I say that I don't have a vote. You know.
But you have a voice.
But I have a voice, and I'm familiar with the voices. Being in Richmond now for 21 years, marrying a Richmond woman, I've kind of learned a lot about the community. So I'm gonna kind of come from a community perspective. First question I have is, you are an attorney, correct?
I am.
What kind of law do you practice?
So I don't practice law anymore, but when I did, civil rights.
Okay.
Most of my work was around employment law for people who were, it's interesting because I've been on both sides of this thing. So I moved to Virginia as an Obama appointee. So I served in the Obama administration. So I've been on the government side, and then I've been on the opposite side to represent people who had challenges that they were facing, mostly with government-related things. And so all of the work that I've ever done has been centered around people and a lot of work around marginalized people.
Okay.
And the least of these.
Why do you not practice law anymore?
Well, actually, it's interesting. I'll tell you this. I never really wanted to be a corporate lawyer. I never really wanted to be that guy in finance law in New York. I wanted to really get a skill set that I could provide something to people that they otherwise wouldn't be privy to. And so that's what the legal field did for me. In fact, most lawyers are untraditional lawyers. They don't practice law. So a lot of people go to law school for that foundational and fundamental knowledge base. And so that's what I did. And I can apply that across the board for so many things that become so helpful to so many people.
So like, what are you doing right now? And what's your day-to-day life look like as a civilian out here in the world?
My day-to-day life is crazy. So I'm a professor at George Mason. I teach online course, race relations, and most of my curriculum is also around marginalized communities and bringing communities together and bridging gaps and seeing how we all can live in a world together and exist. the one thing that we do know is that we're way more alike than we are different. And so between that, and I'm a small business owner as well, so managing some of those things from the executive side and then running around like a chicken with my head cut off with this campaign. It takes you here, there, everywhere. So meetings are nonstop throughout the day, probably 13, 15 meetings a day altogether, events, meet and greets, just community stuff, people on the street having conversations. I know this city. I know my district. And I'll tell you this, though, when you're running for office, it just takes it to another level. And so people have even more concerns, and they really want to know that you're that person that's going to represent them.
Yeah, I'm gonna dig into that a little bit. We nosy, by the way. We for
I'm
the
good.
culture.
I'm
For the
good.
culture. So I'm gonna be real nosy. What kind of
Let's do it
business?
for the culture.
What kind of business?
So I'm in the funeral business.
Oh, okay.
A little known secret to a lot of folks.
Boy, well, you know,
I'm an undertaker, man.
take it. I heard someone say something the other day about the funeral business. He said, "Dang, I wish it was funny." Now I hate that. On camera. I don't
I want to hear it too. I want to hear. I want to hear this.
Says. It's something to the extent that we're going to take your money even past your life. You know, it's like we're going to get you.
Well, one thing we do know that people die every day.
Yeah, so it's a given that your money is going to come through this way.
But it is not really about the money. You know, I've always been infatuated with the funeral business. And in fact, I'm a PK. So I went to so many funerals. And I remember as a kid going to funeral homes and stuff with my dad, my grandfather, who were preachers. And they would say, "Where's Tavares at?" And they would say, "Probably somewhere climbing on a casket or something." It was the truth. It was the truth. So I've always loved the funeral business. But I tell you this, I really went into the funeral business, one, because like I said, I really like it, but because it's about people. And what a wonderful service to offer to people. I mean, it's the end of it's the end of the journey. And providing quality service to people. It is just an amazing experience. And if you do it right, it's something that people never forget.
Do you operate your business here in the city of Richmond?
Yeah.
Will it be within your district?
Yes. Well, actually, it's out of it now since where they drew the lines at. So when we
draw a line, they do a lot of cursive around here.
Well, you know how it goes. They redrew the lines in 2022.
You, I think one of the things when I was looking at your resume that I guess that kind of stands out. I mean, is just a lot of the community involvement here. You serve on a lot of boards, and 100 Black Men of America. You are Phi Alpha Delta. I'm not sure if I know what that is. Is that Greek?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's an honors association.
So he's smart, people.
But I am Greek, though.
Well,
Kappa Alpha Psi to the day I die.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned that to me as well. Young Democrats of America.
Yeah, I've served on the national board for that. I actually am our Richmond chair for Metro Young Democrats.
Okay. Previous Governor Ralph Northam appointed you as trustee of the Virginia Family and Children's Trust Fund.
That's right. A very great board that has a lot of responsibilities to take care of family and children across this Commonwealth. Most of the work that board does, we deal with trauma, we deal with brokenness, we deal with economic things related to families. So just providing all-around, wraparound resources to children and families across the Commonwealth.
Are you a member of Fifth Street Baptist Church? I see you received an award from them as well.
I am not.
No?
That's just a community award from doing what I do.
Got it. So, I mean, you've done some work, and you've put your foot in the dirt. You mentioned just now, I've been here 21 years. It's home. I've been here as long as I've been anywhere, pretty much as it pertains to my professional life. But being in this city, marrying a Richmond woman, I'm from here. I live here, but I never claimed to be from here because people, if you're from here, there's a certain level of sensitivity. You can't even be from. Some people who claim to be from here are from RVA. They're not from Richmond.
Yeah.
So you made the comment that you know the city.
Yeah.
And I tend to believe that you obviously have done enough work to know the city. You've probably got down into understanding the DNA of the city. But I guess my question is, as you're out on the campaign trail, do you run into any Do you have you ran into any resistance? Because Richmond seems to be a city that is like Stoney is a perfect example I use a lot. But he ain't from here.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard sometimes when you're not from the city to be, and you can be for the city, but you may not be of the city. And, I just think Richmond's tough sometimes in regard to how they embrace candidates when they come in political positions to act on behalf of their needs. So are you having to combat any of that on this
No,
trail? No?
absolutely not. I've proven myself. I've done the work. Let me tell you something. When you create rapport with people and you're straight up and you're real and people know that you actually legitimately care about them and that you rock with them, that I sit in people's living rooms and I know their problems. I know what their children are facing. I take them to get their medicine. If they don't have food, bring them food. I visit them in the hospital, you name it. As a city council liaison, whatever problems they have, I had them solved in one day. No, I never had a problem with that.
Good for you, brother.
And you're right. Richmond is a tough place.
Yeah.
But Richmond has some of the most resilient people that you'll ever meet. And Richmond people can sift through the BS. They can see through anything. And so when they know that they can rock with you, they rock with you. And so people have a level of respect for me because I start off giving them that level of respect.
Talk to me about your role as city council liaison. What have you had to do in that role? Tell me what that role has looked like for you, and has that role prepped you for this?
Oh, absolutely. That role, I mean, you do it as a city council liaison, especially me. And, most people will say he probably was the most dedicated liaison that was at City Hall. A guy that worked 16 hours a day. I left City Hall when I resigned with 1,700 hours in leave time because in almost 5 years, I only took off maybe 2 days.
They pay you that money out when you leave?
No.
None of it?
They pay the crooks out. The good people, they don't want to do the right thing. But it's all good though. Because I didn't go there to save up any hours because none of that fazed me. Even when I was sick and people would say, you probably shouldn't be coming into the office because you don't feel well. And I'm like, nah, I got stuff to do. The people are still there. And the people can't wait. City council members only have one staff person, and that was me.
Yeah, so I want to make sure for me as well as the listeners, because I don't know the answer to this, and I'm going to assume that other people don't. Is there a city council liaison per city council representative?
One liaison per 9 members that has to do everything.
So did you work with Ellen? Was you Ellen Robinson's liaison?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But the liaison position entails everything. You practically do everything that a council member does, except you're not able to vote, obviously, because they're the elected official, and you don't sit at their seat, but you have a seat above them on the dais, and if the council person is absent, you can speak in their stead. But the city council position, liaison position, involves everything that it takes to take care of people. So policy work, all the legal stuff I did, and I'm the only lawyer that's on that floor. That's a city council. That was a city council liaison.
It's an advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Constituent outreach. So any problem that people faced, I was that first person that they talked to, the first face that they saw. I'm the person that took all the meetings. Community events. In fact, I probably showed up at 99% of the community events myself, and most of the time by myself. And I did a lot of this stuff in my own capacity as well, because it's just the love that I have for people. Everything that I've ever done has been about people, and that's what I always will do.
You have a very calm demeanor. I don't know I can see I don't know if being around the dead plays any role in that or not, but I sincerely say that. I think I work in the healthcare, mental health space. I think I have a pretty good knack for catching judgment, character, and you are poised.
I don't get flustered too easily. And in this line of work, you really can't.
Yeah.
Because I can assure you one thing, there will be days that don't go the way that you intend for them to go always. And so you have to know how to hold your composure.
Yeah.
And you're the example for the people that you're representing. And so if you lose your stuff, then, who are you? So I'm relaxed in most settings until it requires me to turn up, and I can turn up now.
So I think one of the things that, this brings me to of interest is, and I'm not really familiar with her, but I don't believe Ellen Robinson. I think she may have been here before, but she came. I don't know. She's not like She came here recent. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. She hasn't been a long time Richmonder, if I'm correct. Can you?
She's been in Richmond for a while. She's not from Richmond.
Yeah, similar situation.
Yeah.
Been here for a while. So you worked with her closely for the past 4 years?
Over 4 years.
Over 4 years. What is the dynamic like now between you and her? Because you're competing against each other. Like, did she give you the blessing, or did you just say, "Look, man, I don't need your blessing." Like, I mean, because it's politics, and it's even though it's an independent situation, people tend to try to play politically correct and nice.
Absolutely.
How did this come out between you two?
Well, let me just say a few things. So, obviously, politics impacts people in different ways.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna put this on the record.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you heard that. This is for the record.
Yeah, you got
might
that
be a
right.
clip. It might be a clip.
You got
it might be a clip.
Number one, I want to just clarify something that you just said.
Okay.
I'm not competing against anybody. This is an open seat.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that lives in the 6th district that's eligible to run for office could have run for this seat. So I don't compete against anybody for anything.
Gotcha.
In fact, when God gives you special gifts and he blesses you in a special way, you don't have to compete for anything. And I've never done that. I've always been in a space where I knew I was supposed to be because I believe in manifestation. And so if I were not supposed to be doing this, I wouldn't be doing this.
I like that.
And I'm doing this because the people asked me to do this, and I know that I'm supposed to be doing this. The council person was supposed to retire, and she was going to endorse me. And I got a phone call one day from her, and she says, we need to talk. And I didn't know what the conversation was, but I thought it was just a regular meeting, and we met. 30 minutes into the conversation, she looks at me, and she says, well, I'm going to do it again. And I said, you're going to do what again? And she says, well, I'm going to run again. And I said, well, why would you do that after we've already settled this and it's what the people have asked for? Well, the developers want me to do it again. And so at that point, I said, you know what? I'm going to resign from my position because that doesn't settle well with me. In fact, I told her a couple of years ago anyway that if she would run again, I wouldn't be with her as our liaison anymore anyway.
You already had this
we
planned
had that
out.
clear.
Yeah.
I'm methodical and strategic about most things in life. And so I'm not tacky, I'm not messy. So we need to make that clear and we need to let people know it is what it is. So this is not about me and it's not about any other person. It's about the people. And it's time for a change in Richmond. And let me tell you something. When a person has served in a seat for 21 years and the majority of their district says we don't see much of anything that has been done.
She's been in her seat for 21 years?
21 consecutive years.
Wow, I didn't realize she's been here as long as I've been
At
here.
almost 75 years of age. Come on.
Wow.
It's
Dang,
time for a change in this city.
I didn't realize that.
Which is crazy because you have to think about the dynamics of this district.
And you've raised it. Y'all raised about the same amount of money.
I raised her
more.
3 times, maybe three times.
Yeah, I might have been looking at
least.
old numbers. Yeah,
2.5. I know.
Mm-hmm.
We have the most endorsements in the district. In fact, I don't even think she's gotten any organizational endorsements. I've taken almost all of them. This is a life cycle type of a deal.
It's kind of one of those situations like Joe. You know,
you can brand it how you want to brand it.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things, but it is. I mean, 21 years, 75 years. I'm not saying she's not capable or competent. Obviously, she has been. Just people have chose her to represent
That don't mean
them.
people are competent. That don't mean they're whatever. That just means that Richmond is a different place. And most of the time when you captivate the minds of people in Richmond, historically, they're on your side.
So do you have any Polish or anyone like working with you, for you, to kind of help you get a pulse of like what the voters, where they're swaying right now in your district?
We know which way they're going.
Yeah.
It's overwhelmingly in my support.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I've got a lot of people that's helped on previous campaigns before for the district that are on my team. Most of the senior people who are seasoned, that are business owners that have been in the district for quite some time, are supporting me. I got the previous council members for the district that are supporting me. So many businesses in the 6th district. I have people that have never endorsed anybody before that are endorsing me openly, that have big pull in this city and in the 6th district. It's going to happen. It's meant to be. That's just the beauty of life. Mm-hmm. And it's that cycle that I tell you about. We're at a place in the city of Richmond now where we're at a juncture where things they just have to shift.
Yeah.
Because this has been a city where people have suffered for so long that people can only suffer at the hands of people but for so long. And that time is up. That ship is sailed. It's a new day.
Hey, man. You sound good, man. I like more than what you're saying, the words wise. I can hear the conviction in your. I can hear the conviction.
It's the love that I have for people. I only have one agenda. I'm different from a whole lot of people who are in politics. I'm not a politician. I'm a people-tician. So I can't be bought. I can't be sold. None of that. It's all about the people for me. And it really is that simple. It's just that foundational thing for me. You don't have to be in this stuff and be subject to all of the bureaucracy, all of the politics. You actually can be straightforward and be a voice for the people and hold the people's hand and let them follow you all along through the process. And that's just what I've done my entire tenure, and that's what I'll continue to do. It's about the people. And when you can go into something not being bought, not being sold, not having attachments to you, that means that from day one, when I'm elected on November 5th, I will have a clear mindset with an open perspective that I can say what I want to say on behalf of the people, and I can do what I want to do. And don't owe anybody anything except the people. And it's the people who will make that decision on November 5th. It's the people who make this city work. It's the people who pay the taxes. It's the people whose voices should be at the helm of everything. And I'm going to ensure that that's the case.
So did you ever have a desire to be in politics? So
Man, since a little bitty boy.
you did?
Yeah. I come from elected officials, public servants. My whole career has been around politics and public service.
But you've never served in any political role? I mean, meaning like an elected position.
No.
Excuse me.
It's the first time. Everything to me is about timing.
Yeah.
I don't do anything before I'm supposed to do it. And I don't just jump in things just to jump in them, because my life doesn't work like that. I want to make sure that I'm being effective as possible. And when you're in a space where you're supposed to be, that's when you can really make things happen that need to happen on a whole nother scale. And so that's what I've always been concerned about. And that's where we are now. And we're going to make it happen for the people. The people need it.
Does any of the other city council, like, you don't get in? I don't know if this even. I don't pay attention to this. I ain't seen the other city council people don't really endorse other city council people, do they?
People are too busy running their own races.
Yeah.
That they don't want to get involved with things like that. That may, for council people, some may consider that to be a little trivial.
Yeah.
Some may consider. See, one thing you need to know is that a lot of elected officials in this area play most things safely. So they don't want to put themselves in any type of predicament that may hinder them from accomplishing what it is that they have in mind.
Yeah. As you're preparing, as you're working your race, you're paying attention, obviously, to the other race, the mayoral race. What thoughts would you share as you pertain to seeing like the future direction of where we're going from city leadership?
We want to have a government that works for us. That's the number one thing that people are saying, and they've been saying that for a long time. What we're experiencing in this city is a city of desperation. So every big ticket item that you can just about imagine that is any municipality or any city's worst nightmare, Richmond has it right now. From your mills taxes for businesses, that is a kerfuffle that's no fault of the business owners but the city. From your departments, you got a social services department, for example, that is probably one of the most important departments in the city, that probably has some of the biggest problems in the city, that people feel like they don't have a space or leverage or an avenue to be taken care of properly. You're talking about people getting utility bills that are $20,000. Can't address the high property taxes in this city. Richmond has the highest property taxes, personal taxes in the entire region. Other people, entities, and localities have taken measure to address those things, but Richmond refuses to do that. You're talking about some of the worst streets in the entire Commonwealth. You're talking about crime that's through the roof. We're talking about crime, especially in the 6th District. That the majority of the homicides that occur in the city happen in the 6th District. The majority of the large crimes that happen in the city happen in the 6th District. The majority of the people that are living in poverty live in the 6th District. 6th District has the most concentrated low income, public housing. RRHA, you're talking about average medium income, $14,000. You're talking about schools that have the worst SOLs in the nation just about. So it's going to take leaders who will prioritize the needs of this city and who will not have a personal agenda, but their only agenda is taking care of people. It's going to take leaders who have the savvy and the skill sets to move this city forward. We've got a lot of different dynamics going on in Richmond right now. We're dealing with people who have been here for a long time that are now at a place in life where they feel like the people that were supposed to represent them have neglected them, have mistreated them, have left them from having a seat at the table. The funny thing is, and a lot of those people are African Americans. It used to be a time back in the day where black folk, were so poor, not even poor, that they didn't know, black folks, we didn't know we were that poor, right? But now people can feel the slightest inkling of poverty. And so people have gotten to a place of desperation now, and they're like, wait a minute. The same people that I voted to represent me, that I thought had me in mind, are the same people that all the while really didn't have me in mind. You got that group of people. You got your legacy people in the city who are our senior citizens who are falling between the cracks and losing their houses at an alarming rate. And we have the maps, we have the reports. You got people asking for different organizations to do reports on housing and discriminatory things, but yet they do nothing with it. They get them and they leave it on the shelf. Now, after this interview, they probably will go do something, because I found out that when I say anything publicly, a certain person likes to act, do some action then. So, which is fine if it's going to benefit the people. So sometimes I do say certain things so that people can get something done right now.
That's good. That's good.
But you need a mayor who will resonate with people. You need a mayor who has a different perspective and who has not been bitten by the bug of bureaucracy and politics in the city of Richmond. And you need somebody that can see the overall picture and that is broad in their thinking and their mindsets, and that have every single person in this city in mind. And I'll tell you what, this is probably the most diverse group of city council candidates that this city has ever had. And you're dealing with a different dynamic with the people that are running for mayor. So it's a lot of people that are excited. It's a lot of synergy. It's a lot of energy. There's a lot of passion. It's a lot of, especially now that the vice president is the presidential nominee, which really has changed the phenomena for a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we got a big work ahead of us. And it's going to take, I'll tell you, to answer your question, whomever will be the next mayor of this city will have so much work to do, because they will have to spend a lot of time cleaning up the mess that has been.
Well, two questions. One, do you have in mind the person out of the candidates that you think is the best person right now for that spot?
That's
and we knows it.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm not gonna say a name.
Yeah.
I won't say a name because I'm still trying to filter through these candidates.
I'm interviewing all of them.
Okay.
Well, all of them's got an invitation, and they all have accepted except one.
All right.
Yeah.
This kind of, a lot of people are at a standstill with this, because it's going to take a special person to be able to take us forward and get us out of where we are.
So that leads into my second question, and I won't put pressure you on that one too much. Media trained, very composed professional. He is not going to fold and answer that question right now. You got to work, because you're going to have to work on it regardless who wins. You have to work with them.
We'll work, because that's what we do anyway. Yeah. And it takes us to work across the board with a whole lot of stakeholders.
Yeah, this is my question. As much work as it is as much work that has to be done, regardless. Would you say that Richmond? I mean, Richmond was rated like what, top city to visit, top cities. I don't know who someone said it. I don't know if it was Forbes or CNN or somebody. They've all said something. A lot of people are saying. A lot of people speak highly on behalf of it for some good reasons. Some good reasons, and some, in my opinion, just kind of fluff reasons. Like, I know, I don't. We talking about food and we talking about beer. Breweries and stuff like that. That's all cool and great, but that ain't bringing in no money like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of times when Richmond gets And I'm not down in the city. I'm just saying, like a lot of times when Richmond's mentioned from a popularity standpoint, it's breweries and food, and
Well,
those are
that
cool.
just became a thing, though.
Yeah, and that's not going to change the economy.
Yeah.
So, but there are a lot of people that regard Richmond in a good way, you know. So so between saying talking about the work that needs to be done, what is your purview in regard to like the good side? Like, what do you think this? What do you think right now? If you hypothetically walked in to the city as mayor, you know, and you looked at everything, like, what do you feel like the top five things that would need to be done to take it from where it is to where it needs to be? And I know that you're not coming into that position, but the reason why I'm asking that question is because every mayor candidate that I'll interview or that I've talked to recently will talk about all the things in regard to where it's messed up. But and I'm not saying that it's not or
You
that it
need some
is.
solutions.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it isn't, that it's not, but at the same time, a lot of people, and even Mayor Stoney, when you was talking about all the great things,
Yeah.
to me, it's all about which side are you looking at, because there's work to be done regardless, and it's
Absolutely.
always going to be. And who's to say that the next person come in, even though they have all these fantastic ideas while they're trying to get elected, what are they going to do? What are they going to add different to the Kool-Aid? You know what I mean?
Right. That's a layered question.
I
And
know.
I think you just asked like 4 questions and then gonna try to give me one talking about
I
some.
want you can answer them all. You can answer them all. I just it's hard to put it out there, really.
So I guess a few things. One of the things is, yes, Richmond is a very beautiful place and we have some wonderful things going on. And so to a lot of people who don't live in the city and they're looking from the outside to make determinations on what deems us to be number one city to visit or to live in, then perhaps that is the case. But for those of us that have to live here every single day and have to be subject to all the crime, have to be subject to all of the messed up infrastructure, have to be subject to bureaucracy, have to be subject to people that have not been representative of people, that do not prioritize things that we deem that need to be priorities, those types of things are called livelihood. And so for those people that can pop in Richmond and grab some good food and visit some breweries and, go to a show or something, good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not our reality. Now, I will say this. We have some amazing things in the city of Richmond, but we also have challenges. And we have a heck of a lot of challenges in this place. So I'll put it on the record again. There are a lot of people that would like to say that this city is just off the charts amazing. And we got some great things. Richmond has always been a cool place, to be honest with you. We've always had architecture. We've always had the river. We've always had resilient people in Richmond. So it's just a matter of where we are at this time in life. And so I think that we have to address a whole lot of things. We've identified what the challenges are in this city over and over again. We have so much data in this place and people still asking for studies and stuff. I'm like, why are we still asking for studies and more data when we know what we need and we know what the people have said and we know what they want? But yet we have not made any practical decisions that will make people whole and start to change the life and trajectory of people. That's where the real change happens. And that's where we have not been successful at.
I think, as you said, that you're not competing in this race. Yeah. I don't think Richmond should or is competing. Richmond's never going to be Charlotte. Never. Richmond can only be Richmond. And quite frankly, the people in Richmond don't want Richmond to be anything other than Richmond. It's been apparent when Richmond has tried to take on economic projects that the people have not agreed to. Richmond wants to be Richmond. And that's okay. Do you, as a city council...
Can I answer you real fast before you
please
do that one? Because I want to talk about some of the big issues in the city.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
So probably number one is just having a city hall that actually works. And what we're going to be charged with as the new slate of people that will be in this city and that will be representing people, we got to clean house. And we have to overhaul a whole lot of things that have not just worked for people.
But don't they always clean house?
No, they don't. You know, they ain't cleaned house since Doug Wilder cleaned house, and they talked about him, but it worked. Now, I don't say I agree with everything that everybody does, but then there are some things that really are sufficient, and they actually are efficient, and they work. They don't clean house because there are a lot of people who come into positions that are status quo and who are afraid to clean house because they feel like if they do go in a certain direction, then it may not line up with whatever they're trying to do. So now I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
There are very few people that are very straightforward and very bold to do things that are outside of the norm. And I'm one of those people because I don't have anything to lose. For me at this point in life, it's just about the people. I've done a lot of amazing things in life, been exposed to a lot of things, but at this point in my life, it's just about giving my everything to people. So you need a city hall that works. And that means that we have to have directors, we have to have supervisors, we have to have managers in place. They have the proper skill sets. They can lead departments. They can manage people. One of the biggest challenges in the city now is our management system is broken. And when you don't have good leaders, then you have flaws with your employees. And they're not able to deliver things to the people the way that they should be delivered. And so people are expecting customer service in this city, rightfully so. It's easy. I say this often. It's like I used to tell them at City Hall every day. I said, guys, I'm the person that's going to always pound the pavement. Now, they didn't always like me every day because I was a person saying, you know, I'm probably one of the most likable persons on this planet. But I will have an issue with you when you don't deliver what you're supposed to deliver to people. And that's why I draw the line in the sand. And so we need people with good customer service who will understand the issues and who will make those things happen. So it's easy. It's like Nike, just do it. Sometimes they just drag things out and, you know, delay things or whatever the case may be for no reason. No reason. But I'll go back to what I was going to say. It's easy. I used to tell them, it's like when you guys go to the fast food. When you pay your money, you expect something in return, and you expect it to be a certain way. And if it ain't right, you're going to either go back around and make sure that it's right, or you're either going to go inside and make sure that it's right. It's the same thing when people go to the ballot box. When they cast a vote, they expect something on the end of that.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. I talk to a lot of legislators through the different platforms we do interviews on, and one of the things I tell people, man, is that stop giving your vote away. Let people your vote. If your ancestors fought for you to have the ability to vote, then let these legislators earn your vote. They doing the work for you.
And it is to be earned. That's a beautiful thing.
It has to be earned. It's not. I'm not. You know, and I emphasize that to Black people particularly because, you know, my mom gets upset with me sometimes because I'm not always favorable of either candidate on the ballot. And she's like, well, you just got to vote. You got to exercise your right and privilege. I said, you know, I hear where you're coming from because I understand the history of what we as a people have been through. But I also think we've evolved. And this comment ain't popular. What I'm saying is not popular amongst a lot of people. But we've evolved. Like, it was never fair that people. It was never fair for us not to have a vote. It was never fair for us not to have a right to table. So when you talk about this privilege we got, and yes, I understand it is a privilege, but it's not. It shouldn't be something that I or we have all of a sudden just earned. I don't look at it that way. I feel like the situation was fucked up from the beginning.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So if I go to the box to vote and I don't like either candidate, and I'm just gonna write my name in just to exercise my right. I don't know that, in my opinion, I just don't feel like that necessarily holds any value. I could have stayed at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to win. I'm just exercising a right. I'm just going through the motion of doing something. But that's not popular against a lot of people.
Well, I think that comment just depends on the scenario that you're in. So I'll explain. Sometimes it's about choosing the lesser of the evil.
Yeah.
And
well, okay. Is it though?
Yeah, sometimes. I said sometimes. Sometimes.
We've been in that situation.
Sometimes.
We only never got to talk about it. We've been in that situation.
Sometimes. Mm-hmm. And you have to do what you will get at least
better outcome for. Yeah.
So, and then sometimes I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not traditional in the sense that I adhere to systems and stuff because I think most of these systems is just BS.
We don't
It's
belong
just
to
a
no.
bunch of shit
I don't think black people belong to a party.
it's just a bunch of things that have been made up to put people in places
Yeah.
and to hold them captive for certain things.
We agree. I
And
agree
let me
with
tell
that.
you, people, this is what I drive in right here though. That's why I want people to be engaged because there are a lot of people who most folks either you hate politics or you like it, you love it, and there really ain't no in between. But you have to be engaged. You don't have to like it. You just need to be knowledgeable and you need to be engaged on what's going on. You need to be educated because the fact of the matter is that every single thing that we do in life every day revolves around politics. It does.
Yeah, it does. And you got to know how to do it. You got to know how to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm not gonna debate you on that or disagree with you on that because I may have some sentiments that you can agree with.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is the beginning. I know this is the beginning of more conversations to come, though. As we close, we want to help our listeners become more familiar with you in areas of things that they may not be as familiar with you. I think people are familiar with you as a public servant, as a public figure. They know the work, the service that you do, but they don't know what you listen to when you ride in the car, driving from place to place. So, like, what are you listening to when you just driving in the car?
That's eclectic. It depends on my mood.
Okay.
So it could be NPR. It could be jazz. It could be rap. It could be gospel.
Okay.
It could be dinner music.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, I'm all over the place. It could be Aretha Franklin.
Okay.
Or it could be Joe. I mean, it just depends.
Gotcha.
So whatever mood I'm in, and really I listen to music I come from a musical family. And so really from being at PK, so being a preacher's kid, all of us have to know how to sing. I can sing. That's a hidden talent that a whole lot of people don't know. I actually can sing, as people say to me when they hear me sing. So that just, I mean, I'm across the board with genres.
Does the mood change frequently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna have you back, and we're gonna further assess that. We're gonna learn more about that.
No, but I think that's the beauty of life, though, that you expose yourself to different things.
Yeah, I grew up in music too.
Okay.
Yep. And that's another hidden thing with me that a lot of people don't know. They see me, I interview and talk to a lot of artists and creatives. I have a strong opinion on music. Yeah. Very opinionated about music. And but we'll go on. What is your when you was you're still a young man, but when you was a younger man, who was your celebrity childhood crush?
Nobody. I don't idolize people.
So you tell me as a young man,
I've never idolized anybody. Never. And I think it's a shame how much attention, and I say this in conversations all the time, I think it's so crazy the amount of attention we spend on celebrities, the news stories. I'm like, this ain't even real news. Like,
you're the first person that's answering this question that way.
Yeah, it's crazy to me, though. I'm like, you guys are living your life.
You're also.
Why am I mimicking anybody? Why? And first of all, for most people, the standard that's out there that you think you might be able to accomplish is a bunch of BS anyway. Be happy with who you are. And don't get caught up in the celebrities. Don't get caught up in the capitalism. Don't get caught in the commercial stuff. Live your life in your own lane, in your own zone. Do you. Crush on yourself.
Chicken or fish?
Neither one. I'm a vegetarian.
Oh my goodness.
16 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So, because that was my next question. I didn't know if COVID turns you into a vegan, vegetarian. So you've been faithful and committed the whole time.
I literally just woke up one day. I'm like, this is a good day to be a vegetarian.
And been
cold
consistent.
Turkey. When I make my mind up for anything, I make it up. It's that easy for me. I don't have to think about things.
Okay. All right. Are you into sports?
Every now and again.
Depends on the mood.
Tennis, football.
Who's your football team?
Dallas.
Who's your favorite tennis player? All time.
You know the answer to that.
Male or female, it depends. I like tennis.
No,
I like ping pong for real.
It's Serena.
Serena Williams.
And I got to shout out to my good frat brother who is one of the most amazing figures in Richmond, probably most well known. Brother Ash.
Yeah.
So shout out to him.
Got it. I was reading that you are cousins with George Floyd, the
That's
late
right.
George Floyd.
That's right.
Close cousins?
Yeah.
Distant cousins?
No, we're close. We're family reunions every year, all of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've played a role in helping carry his name in a positive way, and there's been a lot of work involved there as well.
Still much work to be done. This weird dynamic in the U.S. especially is that when something traumatic happens, you get a lot of attention, and people are sensitive and feel a certain type of way, and we, in a sense, come together tremendously, and then after time goes by and lapses a little while, you kind of forget what the real goals are if you don't have people there at the forefront leading that stuff forward. And so that's kind of where we are right now. We had a movement for a little while, but kind of died down some. And so we have to make sure we keep this going. It's not about any one person, but it's about the change for all of us. And it's crazy because even on a local level, whatever, we're all different, but I think we all want the same thing in life. And that's just to be able to live a happy, joyous life that we can all be proud of.
Yeah. Closing comments for the people who out there listening who live in your district and maybe have not made a decision yet in regard to where they should cast their vote.
Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And again, I'm Tavares Floyd running for the 6th District City Council seat, and I'm asking for your support for a number of reasons. Asking for your support because when you look at me, I hope that you see yourself, and when I look at you, I see myself. And I'm running for a change. I'm running because I want to put people first. I want you to be engaged. I want this city to be the best city that it possibly can be. And I want you to know that we're on the brink of change. We are in a position now where we can do some amazing things in the city of Richmond, and that this city can actually be a city where when we say that people can live, work, play, worship, whatever you want to brand it, that that's actually the reality of this city. And that we need leaders in place now that have new perspective. We need leaders that are progressive. We need younger leaders. We need people that have ample skill sets to do the work that needs to be done. And we need people that care about you. And we want people in place that will ensure that you are engaged and that you have a seat at the table. And I want you to know that when you elect me on November the 5th, which I will be so grateful for, because if we said before, that is something that is earned. And when you earn that as a public servant, you're obligated to do something with it. And I want you to know that every day I will show up as your council representative with you in mind, and I will show up as the same person every single day to move the district forward and to move this city forward and to do the right thing for you and to be a representative that you will be happy that you elected on November the 5th.
Tavares, you got a bright future ahead, and it's pretty apparent in regard to why you've had a successful career up to this point. So I wish you nothing but success.
We do it for the
on
people.
Your journey. Yes, sir. And I'm Randy Wilson. This is The Culture. That's right, The Culture, 804 The Culture. Go check us out on Instagram. Tag us, submit your content, more to come, and we out.